Can a power failure or forceful shutdown damage hardware? Can computer hardware suffer damage from forceful shutdowns, holding the power button for 5 seconds, or power failures? I believe that normal PC hardware does not suffer from this. After all, it's not much different than what they experience under a standard shutdown. But elsewhere I've read another person thought that it could do physical harm to the hard drive and possibly other components as well. He also said that the journaling features of file systems are useless in face of power failures and were intended to help mitigate damage from system crashes. I think this is nonsense, but then again I lack the experience and knowledge to say it with certainty.
In the case of shutdown using the button, no hardware damage is possible, noting that corrupted storage content is not hardware damage. In the case of power failure, damage is not caused by the sudden loss of power. But it absolutely can be caused by the fluctuations of voltage and current, both up, at extreme levels these are called spikes, and down, brownouts, that inevitably occur on the line immediately prior to power loss as the power company's equipment fails. These fluctuations can be observed often in your house lighting as it flickers before losing power. In addition, since voltage fluctuation can sometimes occur during normal operation, without total power loss, a high-quality SU or some kind of power conditioning UPS will help preserve the longevity of your equipment. Dirty power, or any noise on the power line, is also damaging to sensitive electronic equipment. Watch where you plug in that treadmill or other large motor device. Lastly, power fluctuations are more prevalent on low voltage, 110 to 120 V, mains than on high voltage, such as 220 to 240 V systems.
No. If you're trying to decide between pulling the power cord and holding the power button down for 8 seconds, hold the button down. Pulling the plug could introduce surges or spikes immediately preceding the actual power loss, while holding the button does not do this. If for any reason your system is not responding and needs to be shut down quickly, hold the button. The only case where you ought to pull the plug rather than wait the 8 seconds while holding the button down is if you spilled something liquid on the system where the risk of electrical shock causing significant damage is greater than the risk of problems caused by pulling the plug. Update for question update. Most damage of this sort is cumulative. As in, it builds up over time. Older, weaker, or lower quality components could be actually broken by such actions, but usually not. Usually such spikes and troughs in the power will contribute to wear and tear which decreases the lifespan of the computer, but does not usually kill it right away. And with a ThinkPad or any laptop, you need to remove the battery and the power cord in order to hard shut off like this. It all boils down to risk. If there is risk of liquid getting to sensitive components while they are powered up, pulling the battery and cord is not so bad in comparison. If the only risk is a virus hurting your files, holding the power button down is not so bad in comparison, but pulling the power cord and battery is much worse. So, depending on what the situation is, take the appropriate action to mitigate damage while minimizing risk.
With modern systems, no, as long as you're using the power button, it's designed to have a graceful shutdown. There's some possibility of data corruption, since your system would not have the time to save everything it was working on. On the other hand, the very reason you're forcing a shutdown might indicate hardware or software problems already existing. Edit, that's practically a separate question. ThinkPads aren't cheap for a reason, they're tanks, and have great warranty service. Pulling the cable and closing the computer is, well, stuff they're designed to do. If you switch off the mains and turn it back on, the power brick will handle it gracefully. Unplugging is within design specifications. Hell, I suspect Lenovo might have a machine to test just that. I'd say none of that sounds dangerous, outside the risk of data loss.
Adding to the previous answers, it's been my experience that power outages, defined as power ceases coming into the home and nothing that needs volts will go, are frequently not simple now it's on and now it's off events. The power may go off and on more than once in a very short time. In the process, there will likely be fluctuations in voltage, high and low. It's the rapid, repeated on and off that can give your computer heartburn. Before uninterruptible power supplies were available to the little folk, I plugged in my computers through a homemade box that contained a relay that would open if the power failed. So even if the power went on/off several times, the first failure would keep the power off to the CPU until I reset the box. Now that UPS are so affordable, I don't run any computer without one. My DVR even has one.